Andrew from Deity Microphones here, and today's episode is a deep dive into the D4 Duo. We're going to show you how to set this up with your mirrorless camera or your DSLR, and also show you how to set it up with your action camera. After all that's done, we're going to show you how to edit the audio in post. Let's get started. In this deep dive, let's take a look at what's in the box. So the first thing you'll notice is you get two dead cats. One is larger than the other. So when you're setting this microphone up, pay attention and put that one on the front capsule. You also get the microphone itself, plus its shock mount, plus a 3.5mm TRS to TRS cable meant for mirrorless and action cameras. To put it together, simply take your microphone. Notice the ribbing here in the middle is actually a little bit thinner. That's actually meant for your shock mount. You'll slide that together. Just like that. You'll take the bigger dead cat and slide it on the front. Now is a good time to actually grab your TRS to TRS 3.5mm cable and plug it into the output jack on your microphone. We're going to ignore the input jack for the most basic setup. Lastly, take the smaller of the two dead cats and slide that over the rear capsule. Now you've actually fully assembled your D4 Duo. Now for setting it up on our DSLR or mirrorless camera. We'll take our camera body, take the cold shoe mount, slide it into the cold shoe, twist the nut to lock it down. We're going to take our 3.5mm, locate the microphone input on our camera. So for me, it's this top one right here. I'm going to insert that into the 3.5mm jack. From here, it's really important to go into my menus and immediately set up for my audio based on my camera brand. The goal in mind when you're setting up your microphone is you want to hit -12 dB in your view meters in your camera's menu. For some cameras, that means you're going to have to reduce it all the way to 1, 2, or 3 notches. Others will actually give you proper dB settings. Consult your camera manual to determine what menu settings need to be changed for your camera. Now let's set up our microphone with an action camera. All you need to do again is loosen up the nut. Get a cage for your action camera that does come with a cold shoe. In our case, we've got a cage that also holds the GoPro Hero preamplifier. On the side of the preamplifier, we'll plug in our microphone. In the menu setting of the GoPro Hero, you're going to find audio input and output. Set it to standard mic plus for the D4 Duo. This will allow us to get much better audio for our action camera whenever we want to go super compact and light. Now let's talk about the two features of this microphone. If what you primarily do is interview subjects in front of your camera, just flick that switch to the front position. That's going to actually put the audio from the front capsule into your DSLR on both the left and right channels. If, however, you do sometimes narrate from the rear of the camera, either shooting as a camera operator or you want to capture someone like an interviewer asking questions of your subject, flip that switch to the rear, and now all of a sudden the front capsule will be on the left and the rear capsule will be on the right. So when you go on the post, you have individual isolated tracks from each other. Now let's talk about the second feature. And that would actually be the input jack on the microphone and what that's really used for. If you've ever tried to use a lavalier with a shotgun on a small mirrorless body camera, you realize it gets real bulky and real messy really quick. So what this input allows you to do is take your lavalier, in this case we have the Deity V-Lav, we're just going to plug that right into the input. Now the front capsule is still on the left, and with that switch in the rear position, now the lavalier is on the right channel. So if I want to capture an interview with a lav and shotgun at the same time, I can simply do that without having to buy or need any extra equipment attached to my camera. Now that we've shot some footage, let's take a look at it in our editing software. First I'm going to do is play the clip.
Hey guys, it's me again. Today we are going to be doing our makeup blind. Do you trust me?
Do I trust you? Yeah, I trust you, even with your eyes closed. Okay, let's give it a shot.
So it sounds like actually two separate audio capsules were recorded, so we know the toggle switch was in the rear position. In that case, what we need to do is isolate the two tracks. So what I'm going to do is actually going to unlink my audio. I'm going to come in, I'm going to copy it, go to the beginning, turn off A1, and copy into A2. On my first track, I'm going to right click on it, do audio channels, and I want them both to be the front channel. What that's gonna do is actually gonna be a dual mono mix of just my front capsule. So that secondary track is now gonna be just the rear capsule. So we're gonna go into audio channels and make that double right. She says, do you trust me, right there from behind. So let's actually just take just that, and we're gonna delete that. And she says, trust me enough, right there. So we're gonna delete all of that. And what we're gonna do is come in with our P tool, which is our pin tool. We're just gonna dip the audio from the front capsule down a little bit, and maybe accentuate a little bit of the decimals of the rear capsule. And for the second time, we're gonna do that for the second little part where she asked, do you trust me? One more time. And we're gonna increase the audio just a little bit of that secondary track to level it all out. And what we could do if we really wanted to get in here with that is we can hide some of these edits that I'm making with a little bit more of the pen tool by making it almost like a cross dissolve. And you could do this all with cross dissolve. So let's show you how to hide it, which is a basic cross dissolve. If that first editing method was a little too complicated, let me show you an even easier method. So what I'm gonna do right here is, because she's now behind the camera, I'm just gonna make a cut point, and it's both gonna be a cut point on the audio and the video. And all we're gonna do is go back to our basic tool. So I'm gonna go back to my arrow tool. I'm gonna select, right click, add basic transition. And it's gonna be a cross dissolve. And we're gonna do the exact same thing for the other side of the transition point and do just a little bit of this cross dissolve right here. Shrink that up. And on this front part where she's actually talking into the front of the capsule, I'm gonna right click, go to channel audio. I'm gonna make them both the left. And when I'm looking at the audio that's now just behind the camera, I'm gonna right click on it. I'm gonna go to channel audio and make sure they're both the right. And then when it's her reaction and her answering, that's gonna now be just the left because it's the person in front of the camera. So now when we give this a listen, you shouldn't notice any kind of problems at all.
Our makeup blind. Do you trust me?
Do I trust you? Yeah, I trust you, even with your eyes closed. Okay, let's give it a shot.
So that is our second method. We actually suggest that for people who are doing daily vlogs, very quick turnarounds, and who may have music in the background. For people who are using the lavalier input or really critical about their soundscapes, the first method is probably a much better method for you. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the D4 Duo. If you still have questions though about how to operate your microphone, if it's gonna work for your camera, ask them down in the comment section below. We're gonna be going in there weekly and making sure everyone's taken care of. We want you to really get good audio on all your video content. I'm Andrew from Deity Microphones. Thank you for watching.